Hugo should just manage with a little effort, in Hartwin's opinion, but he supposed they held the matches for a reason. The blanket wrapped around Hart's legs took a few twisting kicks to loosen, but he managed to roll into bed before the silver sun had broken too far over the tree line outside his window. The tall ginger boy splashed tepid water on his face, hoping the basin would help him awake. It did, but not nearly as much as he would have liked. He dabbed his face with the linen beside the basin and took a look in the small mirror beside the table. He hadn't shaved since arriving in Honey Hole, and a smattering of orange-brown bristles had begun to spread over his cheeks and chin. He ought to have shorn them right then and there, but he felt wild and decided to wait. Hartwin pulled a thin cotton nightshirt over his bare chest and relaced his breeches. In the warmth like this, Hartwin preferred to sleep without clothes. Dressed enough for family, the bleary-eyed Hartwin staggered into the shared common room. The Melby servants had produced their usual impressive spread, somehow delivering it in total silence in the dark. Bread, fruit, boiled eggs, sausages, dried meats, cheese, and other little delicacies from the farms, fields, and kitchens of Honey Hole were spread out on the center table, a bounty ready to be devoured. Hartwin pulled an especially plump sausage from his plate and popped it into his mouth. The burst of fat and spice as the skin brought between his teeth satisfied some deep, primal desire in the pit of Hartwin's stomach. A deep laugh from an unseen corner of the room set Hartwin to jumping. Don't let your mother see you eating with your fingers, or we'll both be scolded for your bad manner. His father, High Lord Byron E. Sadler, smiled broadly at him. In truth, Lord Byron did everything broadly. He was a very broad man. A heavy brow, wide shoulders, and huge hands with palms like oars. A thick, brawny torso gave Lord Sadler the impression of a great beastly brute. Even Hartwin was the first to admit that this was an unfair assessment. For all his flaws, his father was no fool and no brute. The old man speared a sausage of his own on the point of his knife before taking a hearty bite. They are mighty good, though. Hartwin bristled at his Lord Father's presence, but swallowed his immediate annoyance. They're not half bad. Good morning, Father. He gave a lazy half smile and a lazy half wave. Procuring a plate and stacking sausage, bread, and a selection of berries on it. Hartwin settled into a chair and resolved to eat in tired, sullen silence. But then his father smashed the quiet. The hell looks to be another warm one. No breeze coming off the bay this morning. The old man's gray eyes were fixed on the clouds in the window, drifting lazily through the sapphire summer sky. The weather was not a topic of conversation that Hartwin was overly interested in. He and Prince Tanalor had had some incredibly productive discussion last night, and the young colt was more focused on his future than the sky outside. Does certainly appear that way, yes, Father. His father gave a dissatisfied grunt through his nose. All right, then. I'll be leaving my pride aside, then. Hart, I need your opinion. Hartwin gave his own little nose grunt. Of course, my lord. He raised his gaze from his plate. I am always at your disposal. His father frequently sought Hartwin's counsel, sure, but this was always in an official capacity. Hart was one of dozens of advisors to his father at the Lord's Hall, but here it was only the two of them. His father wanted his opinion, his alone. Pride in that was a foreign, funny sort of sensation, but Hart vowed to make the most of it. Lord Byron's face was as still as a We heard Harlow scream.